instance, in my class, you have those three sections, that's medical, non-medical and arts. So in the non-medical section, I was the only girl in my class. So we had this, we were a small group, but I mean, in the classroom, it was perfect because we had this equation with, I had this friendship with a lot of the boys in the class. But, it was still a slightly intimidating experience because, when you thought of being the only girl there and then walking down the corridor, and so you were a bit, there would be sometimes like going towards the hostel for lunch or something, there'd be these wolf whistles that would, or down the corridor when you went, you wanted to be 2-3 in a group. Kind of reading that I've done is a mix of, sort of fiction and a lot of non-fiction as well. Because I think that, fiction sort of helps you shape your language, as also sort of helps you figure out how to sharpen your imagination. But I think that non-fiction does provide you kind of a background. So for instance, what I'm writing right now is a novel based in Chandigarh. So if I'm looking at Chandigarh, I would, it would be useful to know when a certain event took place, or when, there was terrorism in those years, when at the traffic light somebody was shot dead, or, how there were these protests that were happening, and how, who were called khadbus those days, how, those were protests against, say, the Mandal Commission, the implementation of that. And so all this kind of reading provides you with a background. So I think that it has to really be a mix of the two things for you to actually be able to write. One of the things that, of course, other than reading, which I think is essential, any kind of writing that you do is not stillborn. It's writing that comes, from a lot of reading that you might have done, from a lot of, it's like there's this writer called T.S. Eliot who talks about tradition and individual talent. So the tradition comes from all the reading that you might actually do. So other than, reading, I think the other thing is just hanging in there. There's a certain discipline that is required because, as a writer, it's a solitary activity. It's not like you can go out and, so you have to be sitting in your chair. And so if you read a lot of, these writers who talk about their own individual experience, they all say that, like Hemingway, for instance, says you have to glue the seat of your pants to the seat of your chair. You actually just have to sit there. Good breather.
You have been in touch?
Well, in bits and pieces, but more and more over the years. I think as you grow older,
yes,
you hark back more.
True.
But a lot of girls, of course, like
right.
Jyoti Gill, I've been friends with since we were in YPS.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and Jyoti Sanghera.
Right.
Though Jyoti Sanghera I've been friends with even before. Yeah, so friendships have certainly continued from there, and I'll have to say that there's a kind of comfort in these old friendships.
True.
Where you're not awkward about being caught in your night suit. I mean,
It was very normal that
it is,
yes.
You are comfortable with each other, and that's very wonderful. Each time that you go, the first glimpse that you get
is like
you feel, oh wow,
this is my
this
was
there's certainly a kind of nice warm feeling of nostalgia that you actually experience when you sort of